Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Now, this first piece of information was sent to me by a guy who has Chief Brody in the as his picture for his thing. But there's a story that I have never told on this channel having to do with Jaws and Chief Brody, and that is that when and by the way, his screen name on Twitter is @TheCryptoD. Well, when my older son was younger, for whatever reason, all he ever talked about was sharks. And so I had to let him watch Jaws over and over and over. And the scene at the end of, I believe it was Jaws 1, there's a scene, or maybe, yeah, it was Jaws 1. At the end of Jaws 1, there's a scene where Chief Brody is up on the top of, I don't remember what you call the things, the ship, their boat is actually sinking, and he's in the crow's nest or whatever. He's leaning on the crow's nest. He's got a gun, and Jaws has got a diver's tank in his mouth, and Chief Brody finally shoots the tank, and it blows the shark up. I don't think I'm killing the ending there for anybody because everybody's seen Jaws, at least everybody who's anybody. But during that scene, when my son was, during that scene, Chief Brody says, "Die," I think he says, "Die, you son of a bitch." But my son, as a little kid, I would listen to him playing with Legos trying to act out that scene, and he would say, I think what he said was, "You shoulda bump," and that was all, that to this day, that is something that we make fun of because his little mind had interpreted "die you son of a bitch" as "you shoulda bump," and so to this day we joke around about that. But talk about, I mean, people used to call my son the shark back then because that's all he cared about was sharks. So anyway, that's what I think of when I see Crypto D. Well, Crypto D sent me this today. And this was it was a dialogue going on. I love these things where David Schwartz jumps in on the dialogue. Well, anyway, there was a dialogue going on Twitter, and David Schwartz was coming in and explaining something to someone. But then this guy, Who Dis, comes in and says, "Is there any ETA for when MoneyGram will go live?" Now, this is something that a lot of us don't really think about. Yes, Ripple just partnered with MoneyGram. And maybe with something like that, that could cause a surge in price. But what's going to cause the real surge in price of XRP is going to be the utility of a MoneyGram type thing actually going live. And that's the question here. And David Schwartz comes in and says, "Yes, but I never get to announce cool stuff like that." And so he's telling them, yes, I do know when MoneyGram is going to go live. It's not live yet, but it is going to go live, but I'm not allowed to announce those kind of cool things. That's pretty neat when you, this is really cool when you think about it. What other industry can you go on Twitter and have interactions with executives of companies? It's the coolest thing ever. Digital assets are the coolest thing ever. Okay. Next, now this is interesting too. This is from @PhDJ does tweets. XRP community, one after the other of the biggest news any crypto ever had, and it isn't picked up. Ripple and XRP being ignored. Now he's tweeting out, for those of you that don't listen to the Modern Investor does a YouTube channel, and he's got a lot of good YouTube videos. And in this particular video, the Modern Investor talks about the how MoneyTap is going to be using XRP, and how big that news was and how it was ignored by most of the media. And he's just making the point in that any other digital asset had anything even bordering on this kind of news, and it would be everywhere and the price would skyrocket. And he was talking about how he knows that it's frustrating with the prices of XRP. They've stayed kind of down right now. Well, I can tell you from firsthand experience that the price will remain down until it isn't. And when it takes off, it will take off, and you'll be asking, you'll be looking all over the internet and Twitter to find out why the price went up when it shoots up, and it will shoot up. Okay. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Then we got this from the XRP Crypto Wolf. Walmart is working on a cryptocurrency stable coin, and there are MoneyGrams in every single Walmart. The new patent states the digital currency value could be tied to other digital currencies. So could this have anything to do with Ripple and XRP? I would bet money that Walmart knows about Ripple. They work with MoneyGrams, so you know that that's being communicated and how they might be able to work together in some way. This should be exciting, but it's also exciting that, you've got Congress going after Facebook. Congress is going to realize, hey, we've got to figure out a way to proceed forward, because now we got Walmart, and next we're going to have Google and all these other companies, and they're all going to be wanting to create stable coins. Now, it's important that they're creating stable coins, because stable coins will never be a competitor to XRP, the greatest digital asset ever created, because XRP is not stable. We don't want it to be stable, because if it's stable, then we don't have a chance to have hordes of wealth like I believe many of us will have as a result of being XRP holders. Now, Sergeant Obi-Wan makes an extremely good point about stable coins. I love this. He says, when I see stable coins, this is what I really see. Disney did this several years ago, but it faded away. You traded real money for Disney dollars to spend at Disney parks. Nike, Facebook, Walmart, and others are creating Disney dollar to use it on their platforms, but they will need a bridge to connect them. Who will that be? Well, I could also parallel this to something else. Many of you out there have done what I've done before, and you've gone onto a cruise ship. Well, I know for a fact that Carnival Cruise Lines, when you go onto and by the way, you will find out that Carnival Cruise Lines is going to have their own digital asset as well, and all these other ships. But when you go onto a Carnival Cruise Line, what the first thing they do is they give you a card. They want to take you out of your own currency and put you into this thing where it's nice and easy for you to just hand them a card and say, here, put these drinks that I'm paying 10 times what I would normally pay for a drink. Put these drinks on the card. And then by the time you finish the trip, you realize you've put $2,000 on one of these cards. It's like a crazy thing. And so, but the important thing to remember is, yeah, that's while you're on that ship. But at some point, you're coming back into your US dollars and you're back in the real world. Same thing with this Disney dollars. At some point, you come back into the real world. Well, what's great about the positioning of what Ripple's done and what XRP is that all XRP will ever be is going to be an in-between between all of these Disney dollars, whether it's Walmart stable coin or Libra or any of these others. XRP has the perfect positioning. It is not tied to any particular country. XRP is the bridge, and that's what he's saying here. And it's in the perfect place. Now, I want you all to go watch this. Last night, Jungle Inc. Contacted me about this, and then he sent me this video this morning. Now, what he's got a description here on what it is possible to send Bitcoin and other assets such as gold and USD over the XRP ledger. Thank you to Bank XRP, and you should follow him on Twitter at Bank XRP for the Chris Larsen video clip. Follow Bank XRP on Twitter. Okay, now you need to go subscribe to Jungle Inc. He's a YouTuber. He is one of the guys that inspired me to start my YouTube channel. He does a great job. He's a very smart guy. And he has posted this video, which is a good one. You definitely need to go watch it. A lot of people don't realize that Ripple created the XRP ledger, not just XRP, the digital asset. I said that wrong. Ripple did not create XRP. Ripple created the interledger protocol. But I believe was it OpenCoin that's created XRP, which was another company. But what people don't realize is that with the ledger, the interledger protocol, you can send many digital assets across it, and that would include Bitcoin. And in this, Chris Larsen is actually demonstrating how this can move. And there's screens in here if I can get to one. Hold on. He's showing you in two screens the sending, and he's showing you what he's sending and how it works and everything. Everybody should go watch this to get a better understanding of how the Interledger protocol and all this works, because it's really interesting and fascinating. But go give Jungle Inc. a follow and watch this video. You can find this video on his YouTube feed. Next, from Jaquito McPhee at Jaquito McPhee, sent me this. This is something from XRP, the Standard Productions. You should go give him a follow. He produces all of these neat little cartoon videos, and in this one, he's taken a lot of the actual quotes from David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, and he's put it into a cartoon that makes it kind of fun to watch. But you can hear a lot of the things that this David Schwartz guy, who's a genius, has said. Very interesting watch. You can go and watch this channel at XRP, the Standard Productions. Let's see next. Free American Spirit at F American Spirit sent me this. These are the kind of things we want to see, folks. You want to talk adoption? In today's daily news in New York, I found this. Between the lines. Kryptonite, my only weakness. Bitcoin, and they've got the wrong symbol for XRP, but they've got Litecoin, Bitcoin, and XRP in a cartoon. This is 2019, folks. We are entering the stage of adoption. And then from Stephen Bull from the DIP, at DIP SANH, how Trump indirectly devalues US dollars. Impose tariffs on imports from China. Who pays for the tariffs? The US citizen, not the Chinese. U.S. citizens spend less. Retail sector gets crushed. The Fed cuts rate for the first time since 2009. USD is cheaper than ever. USD purchasing power since 1913, and it shows the devaluing of the U.S. dollar. And then there was this from Chinu Patel. I got several things from at Chinu Patel 29. From Anthony Pompliano. Central banks bought more than $15 billion of gold in the first 6 months of the year. They're trying to hedge their risk to the U.S. dollar. Wait till they find out about the non-correlated asymmetric upside profile of Bitcoin. Every central bank will be buying Bitcoin. There's that word, asymmetric, again. Anthony Pompliano has created the buzzword for Bitcoin, I believe, because that's the third time I've seen that referred to in the last 2 days. Then Anthony Pompliano said this, 85% of Bitcoin's total supply has now been mined. That's a big deal, folks, 85%. And then before I leave this, I need to show you that they're making fun of Anthony Pompliano because he keeps being interviewed on CNBC and CNN and all these different places, and he keeps wearing the same tie. I can't say anything because I'm guilty of the same thing. My wife gets on me all the time for wearing the same clothes every once in a while. So we're all guilty of that because we are men and we don't pay attention to things sometimes. From Michelle Vandenberg, rounds out this point, woke up to this headline in the UK's most read newspaper. Daily dry supply. Bitcoin supply is running out as 85% of all coins now mined, and experts say price could soar. This is the reason I own some Bitcoin, folks. Bitcoin is an inferior technology to XRP. I see Bitcoin as my shorter to midterm play. But XRP, of course, that is my major holding, and it will continue to be. And I will continue to add to XRP. As long as these ridiculous, ludicrous prices are still in play for XRP, I will continue to buy. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that my son was a Jaws addict growing up and why you should have bump. Thank you for listening.